Okay, Saturday, June 27, 2020, again. So, I'm trying to find balance. As I was saying in the last episode, I'm trying to find balance. I'm trying to stay calm. One of the things I've done, I've really disconnected from social media again. I was so fuck, man. If you've been listening to this consistently, I'm sure you remember during quarantine time, I was so fucking happy. I was so goddamn happy because I was separated from people. I'm gonna definitely stick with that. There's something about that. I really think I'm far more of an introvert than I realized, and just separating from people. Fuck being around people. People are crazy, clearly. So I think what I'm gonna do is in terms of my life, I'm just gonna keep trying to distance myself from people. Just keep, staying away. Even when our shows start up again, I'm gonna stay away from people. I'm gonna do what George was doing. George had it right. I talked about that shit before. George would sit in the corner. He was in the shadows. Nobody really thought about him for the most part, and people kept coming up to me and bothering me. And fuck that. I'm gonna stay alone now. I'm gonna stay off to the corner. I think it's become pretty evident that when I just put all of my energy into myself rather than a community or a bunch of people, I seem to go much further and I do it much faster. So yeah, staying away from people. And I had this moment recently when I was doing street stand-up in Upland. Jesus fucking Christ! I don't know if you guys have been to Upland, but it's like they just let out the Arkham Asylum in Upland. It is wacky motherfuckers out there. They're really crazy. I was across the street from, Rad Coffee, and I don't know what's going on with their bars or what's in their fucking drinking water, but I got some crazy ass people out there. One of which I have a picture with, who I hold on, let me see where it is. All right, so I'm about to be by a very loud street. So why am I even fucking telling you? I'm just gonna pause it and it's gonna feel like a second for you. And don't edit these, so yeah. At this point, I barely remember what I was talking about. From what I remember, all right, so the guy, okay. So in one of these pictures, I'm surrounded by a group of people, clearly not social distancing enough. I really need to fucking work on that, or at least have my mask on when I take pictures of the people, because it's getting worse again. But there's a picture where I'm surrounded by a bunch of people, and then if you look at the picture to my right are two guys. One's in a polo, one's got like a goofy smile, and he has a hat that's kind of going up. So those two, I had to talk with those two for a good, I think hour and a half, 2 hours. And there were other people there who were, as they say, liberal cucks. Bunch of Negro liberal cucks. There was a black couple there, and then three other dudes who were being kind of quiet. They seemed like they just got done playing D&D, then they went out to Upland. And I really want to commend those people for their composure and their calm during that conversation, because Jesus fucking Christ, man. The dude in the polo shirt, okay, here's how I would describe it. If I was using the hunt as the last example of the episode, there's a spectrum of people, and the people in the hunt I would describe as Trump people and Biden people, or the people in the hunt. And then if you slide a little more into the middle of that spectrum, just a little bit, then you have progressive people and you have conservative people. I think that the philosophies, can be discussed and debated and yada, yada, but those are people that have a political system belief, but are not insane. And the dude with the polo t-shirt, I would describe as conservative. There's a lot of stuff I disagreed with him about. I think that in many ways, I think he's confused and brainwashed. That's my personal opinion. However, when I brought up points that were reasonable, he listened. You could see the wheels turning. He genuinely was trying to listen. He wasn't being an asshole, which I really appreciated. His buddy was a fucking idiot. Like a real, honest to God, crazy person. He wasn't making sense. He was throwing straw man argument after straw man argument. He would never answer anything directly. And so I'm talking with him, and it was getting to the point where I was like, I can't add any sort of nuance when I talk to this guy. This has to be very, very simple. So I made it simple. I asked him what would be, he kept reiterating he's not racist and he has a cousin who's, you hear this dumb shit all the time. I have a cousin, or I have a friend, I have a buddy, my uncle, or whatever. You hear that all the time. And he kept bringing up how he like beat up some guy who was racist against his cousin, or some shit like that. Some shit like that. And, oh, God damn it. All right, that won't happen again. So yeah, he's doing that shit. So I made it simple, made it real simple. I asked him, because he kept reiterating he wasn't racist. He kept saying that he wasn't racist. So I asked him, like, all right, if someone is protesting peacefully, one of the things he kept bringing up was that he's kept saying to say Black Lives Matters is racist, and he kept saying riots and looting and criminal and all that stuff. And I said, all right, fair enough, okay. If it is peaceful, would you support it? And I asked him, and he said yes. I said, okay, if it's and I kept making sure, I kept reiterating, if someone is being peaceful, they are protesting peacefully, it's calm, it's chill, they're letting people know peacefully, you're okay with that. And he said yes. Then I brought up Colin Kaepernick, and that was the last straw for him after 2 hours of going back and forth in circles. The last straw was Colin Kaepernick, and he was like, no, that's not peaceful. Yo, he said a couple of things that were crazy. He said, that's not peaceful, because it's disrespecting the flag. He said he doesn't like Colin Kaepernick because he's Arab, which I didn't even, at this point, fact-checking these fucking people makes no sense and is a waste of time. So I'm pretty sure Colin Kaepernick isn't Arab, but even if he is, what does that have to do with anything? And I asked him that, like, I said, like, what does that have to do with anything? And he brought up 9/11. And it was just, and he got mad and he stormed off. So what I'm, in short of all of this, I'm just in a place where I'm like, okay, I just want to stay away from people. Clearly there are more maniacs out there than I had realized before. Clearly, just being around people is exhausting for me, and like, not fun, gets in the way of my own happiness. So that was a big eye-opening moment of like, Jesus Christ, like how. What do you do? How else do you explain things to someone who just won't get it? And so so I hope that music isn't too loud. So yeah, I think I'm just in this place of like, fuck this. I'm gonna do everything I can to keep my circle as small as possible and just stay the fuck away from people. So that's where I'm at with that. I'm about to go into Romano's, gonna go into the bar, get alcohol, and work on some writing.